Morning everyone. I have the privilege this morning of speaking to you about pastoring. I'd like to begin by giving you three statements about pastoring. First is this, is that pastoring is an immense privilege. Jesus was referred to as an apostle, a prophet, an evangelist, a teacher, and a pastor, but the only one that he called himself was the pastor. We read that in John 10 verse 11 where Jesus said, not only am I a shepherd, or pastor is the same word, but he says, I'm a good one. The second thing I'd like to say about pastoring is that we never move past it. It's not like pastoring is kind of like the generic basics that everybody has to do, and then once you've done your time of caring for people, then you move on to the more interesting things and the stuff you really want to do in the church. We never ever progress past pastoring. It's a bit like the masala in the curry. You can take ostrich, chicken, beef, venison, goat, anything you want. In order for it to be curry, it has to have masala. Take the masala out and it just turns into a stew. If you take care and love and pastoring out of ministry, it's no longer ministry. Third thing I'd like to say, and I think this affects our understanding of pastoring, is that there is a big difference between what I've called TP, traditional pastoring, and biblical pastoring. Pastoring has as its goal keeping people happy. So it's happy people. And you basically do that by having lots of tea and doing whatever they want. But biblical pastoring, if we look at Jesus, is about healthy people. And so for you and I to pastor, this is what we're on about. Keeping the people we lead healthy. Dudley Daniel, he described pastoring, I think nobody got it better than him. He said, our role in pastoring people, and by the way, pastoring is not, you don't have to be an elder to do that. If you're leading people, you're pastoring them. He said, pastoring was all about loving, leading, and feeding. So you need to just think through those three things in the people that you lead. Are you loving them? Are you taking some there? Are you taking them somewhere? Are you feeding them? Now, obviously, the people that you're leading, whatever they need is given to them by Jesus through the Holy Spirit. That's their primary need is cared for by God. But the question for you as a leader, the question for you as somebody pastoring them is, what is the thing that you need to give them? Now, this is a massive subject and there's so many sides to it, but I want to say this, that I think the most important thing you have to give to the people you lead is you. It's a relationship with you. Hudson and I have traveled to the UK a number of times, and about a year ago we wrote back to all the churches we visited and we asked them to audit our ministry, our contribution to their church in a very practical way in terms of travel and food and sleeping and how many days should we stay. But we asked them this question, what is the thing that we bring that is most important to you? Thinking it was preaching or ministry or something. Every single one, without fail, the thing they said, the thing that we need most from you is relationship. And so for the people you're caring for, the people that you are leading, if you're going to pastor them, the primary thing that you have to give them is you. It's a relationship with you. And we go back to John 10, and if we look at the relationship Jesus had with his sheep, look at these. These are the statements that come out of John 10. Number one, he calls them by name. He leads them. He goes before them. They follow him. They know his voice. They only know his voice because they've heard it. They're familiar with it. And I love this point a little bit further down in John 10. It says that he knows them and that they know him. It's a two-way relationship. Sometimes in traditional pastoring, we're happy for us to know people, for us to be in their house, for us to be in their circumstance, for us to be in their world, but we're not really happy for them to be in us and to be in our world and to know us. Genuine pastoring is a two-way relationship. It's a two-way vulnerability. So for myself, you've got to figure that out, in your own world, in your own life, in your own ministry, what it looks like for you to relate. But I've called it my 4 Ps. These are the things the disciplines that I have in place that help me to pastor. And in no particular order, it's prayer, photos. Number 3 would be my phone. And number 4 would be person to person. So with my pastoring and my caring of people, people like to think that it's all spontaneous and it comes out from the inside, and it, you just think about them the whole time. Fact is, it doesn't really go like that. Most people's birthdays I don't remember spontaneously. Most people's birthdays I remember because I've written it down somewhere. And so I have these 4 disciplines in place in my caring of people. It actually starts with photos, because if I have people in front of me visually, I have them in my mind. I see them every morning when I walk into my study. So I have in my study the pictures of the people that I lead. That way, every morning when I walk into my study, or any time I walk into my study, I have them in front of me. I can't forget them. And then the second thing I do is I pray for them. I wish I could say I prayed every day. I don't pray every day. Well, I pray every day. I don't pray for all the people I lead every day, but I need to pray for them. And I have this conviction that the people that I lead, if I'm not praying for them, the chances are nobody is. And the thought of having people in my care that nobody is praying for, I find that very undoing. So I pray for people. The third thing I do is, when I pray with people, I pray with my phone. And I have this goal every day that I will write to at least 3 people a personal message. Can I say it must be personal? If you send me a message and I see that it's one of the ones that you've sent to 100 people, it goes right down to the bottom of my inbox, and I might get to it next year. So I pray with my phone. That's not to read the news or to check up on Facebook, but I pray with my phone so that if I feel anything prophetically or an encouragement or just some tenderness or love, I write it down, I send it to them straight away so that I don't forget. And then the fourth thing, a discipline that I have with regards to caring people, is person to person. So Heidi and I will set our diaries, generally 3 weeks in advance, of people that we want to connect to face, in our home, knowing them and them knowing us. So can I end with this? We're very aware of the Great Commission, which is go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. But the Great Commission is built on the Great Commandment, which says, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, all your mind, and all your strength. And the second commandment is to love your neighbor as yourself. Ministry is built on the 2 greats, the Great Commission and the Great Command. Go and enjoy loving people.